I don't know what is going on with Facebook tonight. It clearly doesn't want this to happen, and I don't know why. Because this is going to be really good stuff. I promise. This video and this interview I have planned for tonight is going to be great, and I know that Kim is going to bring good stuff. Lauren, thanks for hanging in there, bro, man. I appreciate that, for hanging in and just keep popping back on. You're the best. Thank you. So we'll see. Huzzah. Indeed. There's Kim giving me lots of likes. Let's see if we can do this as bring them on camera. Hello. Add. Kim. Can't bring Kim Bottger on camera. There's already a guest in this broadcast. Ah, we did it! I'm so excited. Oh my God, I'm so excited. This has been months in the making, and this is honestly, these last, we've been trying to get this live going for 20 minutes. I'm so excited that this is finally happening. Kim, thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
And for hanging in and putting up with all the tech problems. Oh, you're the best. You are the absolute best. Let me tell everybody real quick a little bit about you so that we can get right into this. I want to be respectful of your time. I know we're starting late. You are a single mom, right? You have a background in finance and banking, and then also in real estate investing. And now you're in the network marketing space and just crushing it in every aspect of your life. And it is absolutely phenomenal to have you here. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. I want to get right into it because I've really just three areas I want to talk to you about tonight and ask you about a little bit tonight because I think it'll be really helpful. I want to talk about success, I want to talk about failure, and I want to talk about mentorship. Okay, let's start with failure because I think this is a big one, and I want people to get this right away. When we talk about business and we talk about the different things that we're all taught about business, which is like, 95% of businesses fail in their first 5 years because they're underfunded, they don't have the right, they don't have everything in place, whatever. So much of that is taken away in the network marketing space, right? Like we don't have to provide any of the trucks, the buildings, anything of that. We just have to do the marketing aspect of it, right?
That's right.
And yet, when we look at the industry standard, and I learned this actually from you when we first talked, the very first time we talked, I learned this from you, which is it's not any better in network marketing. The failure rate is still in the 90% range of people who don't make a lot of money in this business and fail in this industry. Why is that? Why are there so many people still struggling when there's such a limited barrier to success in this industry?
So no matter where you go, no matter what industry or hobby or anything that you tap into, it's the top 2% that make all the money or that are successful. And I'm going to give you a really simple example. I'm at my brother's house right now. My nephew is a professional skateboarder. He's 12.
Nice.
Now you can go ahead and Google all of the skateboarders that are out there all over the world, and you can see just how many of them are professional. In fact, this is his skate ramp in the back.
Love it.
So check this out. This is actually really cool. This is totally off like the cuff right now, but
13-year-old me is totally geeking out right now.
It is pretty awesome. And he's 12, and he's sponsored by Nike, and he is sponsored by GoPro. He's sponsored by Volcom. He, travels all over the world. He's in Brazil right now. And from the moment that he could basically walk, he got on a skateboard, and every single day he skated. And I can't even tell you how many thousands of times he has fallen on the vert ramp, how many times he has fallen off the skateboard. If you've ever been on a skateboard, 100%, you've fallen off of it at some point. But he got back up, and he kept going, and he kept going. And he has very good coaches. He has people that can teach him tricks. He is now rubbing shoulders with the best in the world, from Tony Hawk and all kinds of other. That's like the only skateboarder that I know. There's so many of them. To know. But like Tony Hawk's like the main guy, right? He's like the Superman of all skateboarding. And so to parallel that with network marketing and business in general, it's whoever is the last man standing that continues to get up every single time becomes that 2%. 2% make all the money in every industry. Real estate, NFL, Hollywood, skateboarding, right? You look at the athletes, like how many athletes out there actually make money?
Right.
They don't just have the jersey, right? And society tells you, we're starting to raise our children in a world that has 8th place trophies, right? And we're making it okay to settle for mediocrity, to just be status quo. That doesn't create any challenge. It doesn't create any fight from within. So society says, oh, well, like that's too hard. So I'm just going to stay right here because 95% don't make it. So you're saying that it can't happen for you because you're not willing to try. You're saying that you fell down once and you're not willing to get back up. Okay. You're a quitter. And no matter what that is, it could be in anything. So for anybody that wants to point the finger at this industry and say, well, you know, most people that get in that, they don't make any money. Okay, well, Google how much real estate investors make in Southern California, which is where I'm at. The average is about $40,000 a year. That's almost poverty.
That is poverty
So,
where I'm at.
if you think you're going to make a ton of money because you get into real estate because Grant Cardone told you so, okay, let me just sit back and watch, because guess what, guys? Only 2% make all the money in that. Well, let me just go off to Hollywood because I'm going to be a great actor and a great actress. Okay, well, Brad Pitt was turned down how many times? How many? Like 100? It's a stat on the internet somewhere. It's probably like 150 times before he got a role. Meryl Streep was told that she wasn't pretty enough after her first audition, and look at her now. Like, you're going to fall down a lot. And you might break some bones and get some bruises and get some stitches like my nephew has on vert ramps like this. But that doesn't mean that you can't make it, and you should never disqualify yourself based off of a statistic. I mean, when you look at the turnover of businesses, you're not going to look at a media company like VaynerMedia with Gary Vaynerchuk and say, oh yeah, well, you know, most guys that start media companies and those bloggers, they really don't make a lot of money. Okay, well, what if Gary Vee bought into that philosophy? Well, we wouldn't have that. We wouldn't have Wine Library either, right? And if Howard Schultz was told that, you know, nobody's going to pay $4.50 for a gourmet expensive cup of coffee like that, and he was told that 252 times, and somebody can Google that and tell me what the actual number is. But then he finally found a bank that said, okay, we're going to buy into this concept. And now look at Starbucks, right? And 95% said that wouldn't work. That's not going to work. Oh, here's what those people, I think, need to really understand. If you could do it better than that other guy, you wouldn't be saying that. If you could do it better than that other person that brought that concept to you, or if it was your idea first, you wouldn't be saying that. You'd be going against the odds. So I don't think that you should let somebody's naysayer mentality steer you away from changing your whole life. That could have happened to me. I wasn't, and still not till this day, anything, in my opinion, super spectacular. Yeah, I've had some accomplishments, and I paid off some debt, and I paid off a mortgage, and I did that on a fast track. And then once I accomplished all of those things and I discovered where I was in that milestone, now I was forced to face all these other things in life that I suppressed, that I realized I got to work on this stuff now.
Right.
I got to work on X, Y, and Z. And the biggest problem that people have when they say, well, 95% fail, all they're doing is focusing on the trophy. They don't focus on the process in the game. And part of the game is improving themselves. And that's what they don't want to do, because it forces accountability and change in their life. And that feels very uncomfortable, and it's very humbling. And people don't want to be humbled because they have huge egos and huge insecurities.
Boom.
So that's what I'm going to say about that.
I love it. Okay, so we covered failure. That's why most people fail in any endeavor, and including this industry.
Most people fail because they quit because of their
Right.
insecurities.
Yeah, it's a mental game, right? Like, I mean, everything we do. I was just downstairs watching American Ninja Warrior Junior with my kids, and we were watching, and this one, they had this race, and it was great. It was like neck and neck the whole way, and then you could just see the mental game slip on one of the contestants, and she lost the race. Like, you could see it play out in that moment, and she came in second place, won $7,500. The first place person won $15,000, and she was 1 second off because of a mental slip. It's brutal. It's brutal. Life is brutal, right? Like, we know there's winners and losers.
The game, that's right. In the game of business, it's 80% belief, 20% skill, 100% mindset.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, your mindset is off by 1%. Your trajectory, long-term trajectory, will be off completely from your target.
Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about what are the factors for success. What do people need to look for? What do they need to do? What makes people successful? Not only in network marketing, but in any industry. What do you think some of the key ingredients are?
Their mistakes. That's probably one of the biggest things. All of the mistakes that they have made, because it's a process of elimination of what does not work. And you have to go through that. And that's usually where people quit, because they don't like how mistakes feel, again, because it's humbling and they have insecurities and they don't want to face those things. I'm going to say mistakes. I mean, how many, again, going back to like the Howard Schultzes of the world and the Richard Bransons and the Warren Buffetts, like how many mistakes did they have to make to get where they're at?
Right.
That part of the game of success is falling down flat on your face. And sometimes everybody watches it. It's just whether or not you get back up. How do you handle that? I would say another thing is swallowing your pride and being able to get rid of your ego. Being willing to have that, I shouldn't say being willing. How do I want to say this? Developing the power to not have anybody's opinion have value over your life or your vision. And that's when, in business, I think in the 21st century, you definitely have to make it about a bigger vision. You can't make it about you. It can't be just about the money, because if it's just about the money, it's not good enough. But the one thing that you do need to make about you is what your goal is, because the moment that you let that negative Nancy come into play, and that voice that says, you're really not going to make it. Those things really don't work, you're really not going to make it to the Olympics. You're really not going to build that multi-million-dollar business. Okay. Well, why are you placing so much value on an opinion from Johnny 1974 that's never built anything in their life?
Right.
That can't even afford to hate on you properly, because the only place that they hate on you is in social media, because you're never going to see haters at the bank. You're never going to see haters at the Albany Club in the Bahamas. You're never going to see haters taking out their friends on their yacht. You never see haters on any of those places. You only see them on a social platform where they get to hide, and they will never pick up your phone call and say to your face, ever. They'll never chew you out over the phone like that. They'll just hide behind a computer, behind a desk, like the troll that they are. And when you decide that you're no longer going to give those types of people equity in what it is that you have in your vision, you can and will become massively successful, because nothing will deter you.
That's fantastic. That's so good. That's so good. I hope that really helps. I hope that unlocks some stuff for some people who've been listening to other people that they just shouldn't be. I know I've done that in the past in my own life, where I've like, okay, well, this is family or whatever. I should listen to them. And then I had to say, okay, well, what is the fruit on the tree? Like, do they have what I want? No. Well, then why am I listening to that? That's silly.
Let's park on that. On that. Okay. So if you wouldn't trade places with them, why are you listening so much to their advice, and why are you putting so much weight on that? That's the first thing you got to think about. The second thing you got to think about is having a conversation with somebody last night, and this person shared with me that it's your family and actually your children that hurt you the most because you love them the most. You love them the hardest, and therefore they're the ones to hurt you the most at some point, right? And they also, your friends and your family, they know you the best and they already think that you're crazy.
Right.
Howard Schultz did not go to all of his best friends and say, hey guys, I think we should go create this coffee and sell it for $5 a pop. No, he didn't. When people open up their ice cream shops, when they open up their restaurants, it's not their friends and family that keep them afloat. It's not their friends and family that funded their venture.
Right.
They found a resource. They found an equity partner. They found an angel investor. They found capital, right? They leverage different things. They leverage money. They leverage banks. They leverage people. They leverage systems. Usually it's not your friends and family. And in this industry specifically, it's your best friends, typically, and typically your family that will A, never join you in business, or B, be the very last ones to join you because they want to see that you do it first. And there's been many, many times in my journey where people have seen, okay, she actually did it. And I did tell her that I was going to join her when she did it. But now guess what? Those people are nowhere to be found and they will not answer my phone call, because at the end of the day, your success and your failures have absolutely nothing to do with them.
Right. Yeah.
Nothing. It will not dictate whether or not they have success and failure. Everything that they're deciphering right now has everything to do with them and nothing to do with you. So, when you place so much equity on people's opinions that, first of all, they're broke. A lot of times if they're being negative, they're unsuccessful, they're unhappy, they've never built anything in their life. They've never learned how to fall in love with the game. They've never learned how to expand their capacity. They've never learned how to lead people. They've never learned how to self-develop and stretch themselves and put themselves in incredibly uncomfortable situations so that they can grow and become stronger, because all they have to say is, that's not going to work. So why would you follow that? I wouldn't follow that to the bathroom.
It's so true. It's so true.
Back to you.
I completely agree. It's one of those things that, like, and I tell people as I'm getting them started, I say, listen, if you're counting on your friends and family to do this with you, like, we'll definitely show it to them. We'll definitely expose it to them. But don't, like, if that's like the determination of whether or not you're going to be successful in this business, don't bother. Like, that's not enough. Like, you wouldn't start a pizza shop and be like, well, if I'm counting on my friends and family to buy this pizza. You're not going to be in business very long. You've got to be willing to get past that limitation in your thinking. And I learned that through mentorship. I learned that through talking with people like you and stuff like that. And it's one of the things that brought me to Overcome Nation was the mentorship and the thought process on that. And I love the fact that we're the only place where you can get this kind of mentorship for free. Overcome Nation being free is one of the most amazing things and revolutionary things, I think, in all of network marketing. And I've been involved for over 15 years. So I've seen quite a bit. And I've been with some great organizations and some really good businesses in the past. And I'm more excited about this than I am about any of those at any point in my business journey. So to have a free business school where we can learn from people like you, people like Rick, and people like Frank, and be able to get this kind of mentality and help people overcome those limiting thinking is so important to me. Talk to me about the mentorship game aspect of building a business. Why is that so important, and why is that missing? I think it's a missing ingredient for most people in their success journey.
So at the end of the day, somebody else can't take you to a place that they've never been. If you say, well, I want to go be a real estate investor and build a portfolio, and you're asking your neighbor who is about to file bankruptcy what his investment advice would be for you, we can probably all agree that that's the wrong type of person to seek out wisdom from when it comes to real estate investing, right? Same thing applies to this industry and network marketing. If you want to know how to pay off your house, your mortgage, and for myself, my own individual story, that was 2.5 years from starting point. We're about 2.5 years in. We're growing into 3. If you want to learn how to do that, you have to partner with somebody that's done that. If you want to make multiple 6 figures, if you want to make 7 figures, you need to partner with somebody that's done that. And not just from a perspective of, well, they've made the money. That's the first part. The second part is, how have they expanded their capacity, and what else can they give to you as far as building you from the inside out, besides just the mechanics of, well, here's how you should invite here, and here's what you should do with this objection. That's just sales 101. You're training. That is Salesforce training. And what we do here is breed leaders. We grow tiny little fish into big whales, and that is mentorship. Training says you should go for no and make a list of 100 people, and the odds say that you're going to get 5 of them. Mentorship says, from our ecosystem, our well of experience in this industry, says go for no is terrible and is ruining your business because you don't earn a no, because you don't prepare for a no, and you're not trying that hard with a no if all you have to do is check a box. It's a wrong mindset. It's ruining your business. Stop practicing it. We're going to teach you something different. We're going to teach you how to go for yes, and what the mindset is with that, and how to keep going spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, financially. What time strength is, what social media strength is, what problem solving looks like, what accountability and love looks like. Those last 4, huge in this industry, and nobody knows how to teach it because either they haven't been given that themselves, or they don't know what that road looks like.
Yeah.
Problem solving is probably, if you're a networker and you know, let's just say you've had a certain amount of success, but your whole team is grabbing at you because they can't answer the most basic questions themselves, and they're not practicing their critical thinking, that tells me that you lack a system. If your team or people that come into your organization, or which I don't understand why people apply this mindset to this type of industry, but they don't apply it in their 9-to-5 job, time strength. People come in and within a week they're like, oh my gosh, like I just can't do it. Look, business is exactly like going to the gym. It is no different than getting that 6-pack of abs. It takes time, it takes consistency, it takes diligence, it takes discipline. All of those things apply to business. They apply to education. If you're looking to climb the top of that corporate ladder, you can't get hired at, let's say, Google, and within the first week be like, well, you know, I'm pretty sure I should be the personal executive vice president with all these letters behind your title, and I should be working directly under the founder. I think I'm qualified. Everybody's going to look at you and be like, you're out of your freaking mind. You're crazy. You're not qualified. Yet you step into this industry and you think it's supposed to happen overnight. No, it's a business. Starbucks didn't happen overnight. Apple didn't happen overnight. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company. Like, you start looking at all of those things. You start looking at the most successful people in history in the 20th and 21st century. It doesn't come without failure. It doesn't come without discipline. It doesn't come without time, strength, time. Time is your friend in business, but we live in this instant gratification society that says, hey, you want chopsticks delivered to your doorstep in the next 45 minutes? Just push this button and it'll be right there, hot and steamy. Hey, you don't want to watch that movie at the movie theater? That's okay. Order it here on this Amazon Fire Stick. Hey, you want to go out and buy that Porsche? You don't have the money? No problem. We'll give you credit anyway, regardless if your score's 600 and you can't really pay your house payment. We really don't care. We're going to put you in debt anyway so that you can satisfy that instant gratification monster. So when you operate in a society that's constantly feeding that mindset, and then you try to step into this, yeah, you're going to have some issues with time strength. Whose fault is that? Probably yours. Which brings me to my next one, which is lack of accountability. It is amazing to me how many people have all these insecurities and they want to project everything on everybody else. They blame their parents, they blame their siblings, they blame their boss, they blame, you know, their best friend, they blame their husband, they blame their children, they blame their ex, they blame the justice system, they blame this, they blame that. Okay, look, when you start taking accountability for your own life, things get a lot more bright. Life just gets a little bit better when you start taking accountability for yourself. Your business isn't where you want it to be. Okay, whose fault is that? I once heard Gary Vee say it like this. Hey, if I walk out of this building right now and I get hit by a car, probably my fault. Maybe if I just would have left the building 10 seconds later, I wouldn't have gotten hit by a car. Now, if you applied that kind of mindset to your entire life and you stop projecting all of your problems on everybody else as to why something is not working in your life, instead of seeking out a solution, back to problem solving, here we are, you'd be where you want to be. You're broke? Okay, whose fault is that? You're successful? Okay, whose fault is that? Now, a hater is going to look at that and say, oh, well, you know, they just got lucky. Haters are infamous for that. Well, they just got lucky. They got a deal. No, they didn't actually see all the hard work that you put in. At the end of the day, haters have a huge lack of accountability. And you're always going to have them, and they'll also make you famous. So that probably gives you a little bit of a taste.
Right?
That probably gives you a little bit of a taste of what it looks like to be mentored. And notice in there how I didn't say anything about how you should go and reach out to 5 people, how you should go and this is how you overcome this objection. And this is what you should say on a Facebook message. And this is what you should post on social media. Now, can there be value in some of those things? Absolutely. That's not mentorship. That's just sales training 101. And when you give people, here's the rule of the game. The team or the leader that gives the most content away for free wins at the end of the day. And we do. That's what makes us win. We don't charge people for what it is that we know. We make money on the back end. And here's what that means. Ben, when you make money, that's when I make money. I think that's a pretty fair formula.
that's how the industry is set up, right? I think like in the 70s and 80s, like the industry figured out, oh, hey, we can make money on education as well. And they got addicted to that money, and they realized they can make even more money off of the education because it's easier to sell a course or make a CD than it is to actually go do the work and build a business. And I think that like infected the entire industry. And now we're reaping the rewards of that, of just god-awful network marketers out there just spamming people and going for no and just giving a black eye to the entire industry. And I'm thankful for you and the rest of Overcome Nation for being out there and saying, no, that's not how this is supposed to work. You're supposed to have a business, and that's what's supposed to pay you. The education system, the mentorship, that's just supporting your business. That's not the business that we're in. And I love that.
Look, if they could do it,
they would be.
If they could do it, they would do it. They can't do it. So they default to, well, I am this awesome certified life coach and XYZ person. You should hire me and pay me 10 grand. For what? Yeah. When have you ever made 6 figures? Have you done it more than once?
Right.
Or did you just hit a mark so you could get a title and then you got this bragging right? By the way, just because you have a title does not make you a leader. Right. A leader means you pour into people and raise them up higher than you. And if you are in a situation where you're just listening to a training group, that doesn't mean that you're developing into a leader. You have to actually get in the trenches and do the self-development and pull out all the ugliness from that swamp that you try to put sand on top of, and actually grow into that beautiful swan that swims on the lake, from the ugly duckling to the beautiful swan. And that's what we do here. And I can tell you that if it weren't for my mentors, there's no way I would have had the amount of success that I do. I would not have had the tools to go off and produce another big earner and another big earner and another big earner. I don't take credit for that. I credit the system. I credit my mentors. I'm just the vessel. That's it. I'm just the vessel. I receive the information, I make it mine, I duplicate it with other people. That's a really great system at the end of the day. And back to one more thing, when I was talking about how, when you make money, I make money. Right now, if you were to lose your job, your corporate job, your boss still makes money and you don't. I think that's what makes our system really, really fair. We have a huge incentive to make sure that people are successful here.
Right. Oh, absolutely. And in fact, like in my career, my job has been to put other people out of work. I build automation systems for radio stations. And so when I show up,
There you go.
People are losing jobs. Like that's how it works.
They don't like
No, I'm not the most popular
Yeah.
guy in the building.
You're not.
And people only talk to me when they're angry. I have a lot.
Right.
I have a lot
You're
of reason to
complaining.
get out of my corporate job. But it's true. I mean, that's how business works in mainstream corporate America. Like there's incentive. You're always trying to lower your costs and increase your profits, and your people in that you have as employees are always your biggest expense. So it just makes sense that you need to have something like this system that can help you, if nothing else, just give you a security net, or even better, get you a way out, which is even better in my
That's
mind.
right.
So I'm going to end it there because I think that nails it. I mean, you just knocked it out of the park. I
Wonderful.
think that was so good, and I want people just to think about what you just said, because I think it's so important. I think that really is the keystone to everything else that's going to set a lot of people free mentally and financially. So thank you, Kim, for doing this.
Thank
You are a blessing. I appreciate you so much. And if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to drop a note below or shoot me an instant message, and I'll get back to you. But again, thank you, Kim, for being here. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank
Bye.
you. You too. Sounds good.